So in my last video, I went through how I edit my own photos. I've shown you my workflow, and my workflow is purely based on knowing the image, understanding what there is in the image, and knowing exactly what to edit in that particular image. So the aim of my upcoming videos is to actually teach you the panels in Lightroom Classic, the various panels that you can see on the right of the screen right here, and then you will be able to know exactly what to do with your images to create your own workflow. So the aim of this particular video will be to show you the basics of what these panels can do. I'm not going to go through all of the panels because it will be too much detail for one single video, but I will be going through the basic panel and the lens correction panel. So the aim of my upcoming videos will be to show you what the various panels in Lightroom Classic do, so you will be able to know exactly what to do with your images. You will know what you can achieve with your images, and also where to find those particular settings in Lightroom Classic to be able to edit your photos. So to show you the basics, I chose a very random photo, and this will show you exactly what I mean by basic adjustments, because there's a lot of basic adjustments that we can do on this particular shot. So I'm going to immediately go to lens correction. You can see that the horizon here is not straight at all. So when I enable the profile correction, you can see that it immediately fixes the distortion in your lens. Your lens is obviously a bit distorted, so it stretches out the edges of the image whenever you take a photo. So let's move immediately to the basic panel. And the first thing you will see in your basic panel is you can automatically edit your photos by clicking the auto button. It will immediately edit your photo with the optimum settings for that particular photo. We don't want to do that because we would like to put our own effort into editing an image. You can also switch to black and white, and there's also HDR editing. We will not go into HDR editing for the time being. Then we have profile, which is basically adjusting the color profile that your photo will use. You can see that if I click landscape, for example, the saturation and the vibrance of colors immediately pops a bit. You also have this pipette right here, which adjusts your white balance. So if I have something which should actually be white, I can click on it, and then my whole image will adjust according to that white color. But in this case, for example, that white color is not a true white. Moving on, you have temperature and tint. Once again, that is adjusted by using the pipette color to adjust the white balance. But you can also click this drop-down menu and choose auto white balance, which will typically analyze the image and sort of adjust the white balance accordingly to your photo. Then we have exposure, there's contrast, highlights. I'm just going through all of these options to show you what each of them does. Shadows, you can increase the brightness of the shadows, and as you can see, it only affects the shadow areas, the dark areas of the image. Whites, everything that's bright white can be affected with this slider. Blacks, whites and blacks are similar to highlights and shadows. However, these actually affect the white point and the black point in your image. We can see this if we click these two triangles right here. One is the white point, the very right corner, and the very left corner is the black point. If I increase my whites, I'm clipping those whites, so the image is actually too white. If I do the same with the blacks, I move it backward, you can see that I have too much black. Then we have texture, clarity, and the haze. All these three will affect the sharpness of the image and the amount of texture that you can see in your image. So I'm going to zoom into a particular area of my image, and I'm going to increase texture. You can see immediately that the sharpness of the edges, the small edges of the photo will become even sharper. Clarity has a similar effect, but it also affects the contrast of the image. So as you can see, when I increase clarity, it affects the contrast of the pixels and makes them even sharper as well. The haze is an option to actually remove haze from a photo. So if we focus on this particular area, for example, of the image, we can use the haze, and as you can see, it became a bit sharper. Let's zoom in a bit more and return to the original view. You can see that the haze there, what I mean is the haze, not the haze as in the option. The actual haze in the photo has been removed when we increase the haze option. Two other sliders, vibrance, as you can see, the vibrance of the color increases, and saturation. Both of them do a very similar thing, but vibrance sort of keeps the original colors but intensifies them a bit. That's actually all there is to understanding the basics of Lightroom Classic, and to show you what I mean by basics, I'm going to edit my image just quickly to show you how much of an effect the basics can actually do. And you can see that without doing much work with just using the basic panel, I've immediately transformed this image from this very dark shot to quite a nice looking image with really punchy colors. So I hope you understood how to use the basics in Lightroom Classic, and I really hope that you can use these tips and tricks to be able to create your own workflow and to understand how you can edit your photos when you actually start using Lightroom Classic. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to know more, because the next episodes will focus on the more advanced parts of Lightroom Classic, like tone curves, colors, and a bunch of other tools that you can use in Lightroom Classic. And as always, thank you for watching.